Nick, lovely to see you. Nick, do you think Rishi could have done with speaking to Dave before making that statement yesterday?
Well, I have to tell you, I thought I had a bit of a tough time with Rishi with my interview this morning. Then I met Dave, the weatherman, who I wouldn't have wanted to swap places with you two, let's put it like that. But yes, I spoke with the Prime Minister. He was determined to get some messages out. Actually, I think I was spoken at by the Prime Minister, who's probably more accurately. But he's in full election mode, Ben, Kat, Sonia, he's out there. He's going to get his messages out every opportunity he gets, and he sees that on LBC.
I think we've got a couple of little clips of your interview with him, so let's hear what the Prime Minister said at you.
Do you regret doing it in the rain, as it were?
I'm not going to deny that it was a bit wet.
But you know why didn't you have a plan for something inside?
I'm not a fair weather politician, Nick. I believe very strongly in the traditions of our country, and when you're making a statement of that magnitude as Prime Minister, I believe in just doing it in the traditional way, come rain and shine, in front of the steps of Downing Street.
I mean, it was very much that Dunkirk spirit. Brolly's up. Let's get on with it.
But there was no brolly.
No.
I mean, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Are we talking more about why he did it and how he did it than actually what he was saying?
Well, here's the debate, and let's go round the table now. And I said you're a man with a plan, so where was your plan for inclement weather? Where was plan B? But here's the fact. Do you have someone standing, a man or woman, with an umbrella? Because then the headline is Wally with a brolly.
Yep.
Do you build an awning, which looks kind of weird? Or do you be very British, as we've all done at summer parties and barbecues and children's christenings? You just stand there and get soaking wet. And we debated this with my listeners today, Ben. Sonia. I think, actually, bizarre as it looks, I think he called it right. I think he looks stupid under an umbrella. An awning looks faintly ridiculous. What say you three?
Sonia?
If I was an advisor working in Number 10, I might have looked at the weather forecast and thought, oh, there's 80% chance of heavy rain this afternoon, and the forecast is dry for tomorrow. Why not do it tomorrow instead? I think that's what I would have done, but maybe that was just too simple for them.
But is it loaded? Is there some ulterior motive to it, do you think, at all? It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, maybe they thought that it was going to make him look like somebody, you know, he brazened it out well in that answer to Nick, didn't he? He said, I'm not a fair weather politician. I think the issue is that political journalists love a good metaphor. What better metaphor is there than the Prime Minister saying, vote for me, I'm launching a general election, and literally there is rain dripping off his suit, dripping off his hair.
But then it went to the next level and you started to hear the strains of things can only get better, and it slightly became comedic.
Yeah, it was extremely unfortunate to hear the 1997 Labour campaign anthem. And I mean, to be fair to them, it's sort of people's right to protest. It's a well-known protester. You know, there's not much that they could do about it once they'd decided to do it on that day and he was set up. But again, it's a kind of thing where really careful stage management by a political party, by an events team that's thinking about optics. They might have thought about timing the event differently when there hadn't been a head of speculation building up all morning.
Yeah.
You know, so protesters didn't have time to get into place. So I think there are things that they could have done to avoid the situation, but it just looked really unfortunate.
Haven't they got a very expensive press room inside Number 10 that was set up specifically for moments like this, so the press can be there, he can make a statement, and it's in a controlled environment? Because as Sonia was saying, the noise from the end of Number 10 has become a popular way of protesting.
Yeah.
And, of course, when you want to get your message out, and it's such an important one, we've all been waiting for him to announce this election, you kind of want it to go without people being distracted, don't you?
Yes, it wasn't very good, was it, to the streams of things can only get wetter that we tried to hear, that we tried to hear the Prime. Yes, there is a room. All three of you are absolutely correct. But I'm struggling, Ben, you might be able to... I can't think of the last time a PM did that significant announcement that she is going... To my recollection, and I'm really racing... They've always done it outside, Ben. Right. I cannot. Thatcher, Brown. I mean, of course you can do it inside. You can do it in your bath if you want to, no problem. But well, he virtually did do it in the bath. But precedent sort of. It's that powerful shot with Number 10 behind you that they go for. I think it's precedent that they were going for more than planning.
So let's pass that. Why now then, Sonia? Why have they suddenly gone? Because we're led to believe that a number of the cabinet didn't really know it was going to happen. It's taken quite a few people by surprise.
That's right, including a lot of political journalists, actually. I was convinced he wasn't going to do it before the summer. Yep. And I think the rationale for it is if you take a step back, There's a real risk that things are going to get worse for the Conservatives in the coming months, and that's whether you're talking about the economy. Yes, there are some good indicators, but people might be feeling the pinch as it comes in the run-up to Christmas. When you're talking about small boats, it's very likely that numbers are going to go up over the summer. So there was a political argument that some of the Prime Minister's advisers were making, which is that we've got these 5 promises to the country. Actually, on some of them, we can show we're making headway. Inflation is down to 2.3%. NHS waiting lists, they're very high, but they are starting to come down. The issue for the Prime Minister is, A, it looks like a very defensive move going this early because it makes you look like you think things are going worse, so it looks a bit like damage limitation. But also, in terms of the message you're trying to sell the country, you can say, look, some of the indicators are moving in the right direction. The issue is when people have faced price rises of 20% since 2021, wages have been stagnant, really, over the last 5 years. NHS waiting lists, well, they may be coming down a bit, but from record levels, you've got millions of people. So people don't feel like things are getting better. And it's quite a hard message to hear your Prime Minister say to you, we're turning the corner, trust me. I think it's going to be hard for that message to resonate.
When Sonia said she thought it was quite defensive, Nick, I'm not sure you agreed.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and it's a perfectly acceptable theory. I actually, on this occasion, I take issue because I think if you leave it to the last moment, November, history shows Prime Ministers who do that, and the British electorate are incredibly canny. Remember how they worked out Theresa May. They see that this is last chance saloon, they act accordingly. At least in doing this, Sonia, I would say he is in part master of his own destiny. He's decided to go 5-6 months earlier than he could have done, so he's at least showing that he's being bold and doing that. So maybe we give him a bit of credit to that. But to Sonia's other points, you're absolutely right. Look, they will point to within the last 30 minutes or so, migration figures came out to show that the total last year was actually down 10% on what it was the year before, so they'll talk about that. Sonia's rightly identified, of course, inflation, and the NHS numbers are down a bit, but they're still 330,000 higher than when he made his promise at the beginning of next year. So he's got a very tough story to tell, and it's now, of course, his timing that he's chosen.
OK. Well, it's going to go on and on and on, I think, but his hair will remain
almost as much as Dave the Weatherman. I think this one's going to go on.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.